Hey, hello, all two of you, whoever you are. I see we got Thomas here. You know, it's interesting. When I get ready to start this thing, just to make sure that Hangouts is working, that's why I do the countdown. Because if I wait uh, until the last minute and start Hangouts, and something happens and then it tells me I have a bad stream or something like that, then I'm screwed. So that's why I do the countdown, really just to make sure everything's working. And it's interesting to watch the viewer count during that countdown, because I'm sitting here, I'm ready to go, and it says two people watching, three people watching, five people watching, four people watching, five people watching, and it goes up and down and up and down, and everybody's checking in, and it's always not there yet, so they back out. But it's fun. Now it says three people watching, so I don't know if it's even accurate. But I see I got Whiz Bang here and Thomas O'Sullivan. Gary, how you doing? So I know I got three of you, unless you're gone away now too. And I guess we'll wait and see who else joins us on this Thursday night. I don't have a huge following, that's for sure. So it seems to be just the same guys. So let me go here to my email and send out a link, and here it goes. So Gary enjoys watching the monkey while the music plays. Yeah. What I should do in the background, instead of playing some drone videos, is I should get some zoo videos of a whole cage full of other monkeys and see if I can attract my monkey's attention and get him to turn around and watch the other monkeys and see what happens. Well, I sent the link out, guys, and somebody join me, even if it's just for a short time. Keep me company. I was on with Spike, and in fact, on his Saturday night stream, I usually like to jump in, and that's a lot of fun. And he gets a lot more play than I do, but he's more of a character than me. I don't have any illusions about ever becoming a big time YouTube star. I do this because it's fun, and met some nice guys, and I see he's more of a character than me. Harry popped up.
Yeah, there I go.
There you go. Mute your audio. How you doing, Gary?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing fabulous, man. This may be the last of the Hangouts. What do you think? Have you heard anything that I haven't heard?
Yeah. I'm hearing that Hangouts is gone. I see some guys have gone to Zoom, but that costs money, so I don't know.
Do you have Skype?
Yeah, I can never remember my password.
Well, between now and next week, figure out how to use Skype. Figure out what your username is, at least, so I can call you. Yeah. And what I'll do is we'll try Hangouts and see if it's even there in the YouTube. When you set up the live stream, it asks you whether you want to use Hangouts or use some other kind of thing like stream right from OBS or whatever. And lately been selecting Hangouts because it's just so easy to do a live stream like this. Yeah. If I do it through OBS with Skype, I can bring four people in, but I have to manage it. I have to place the windows and set up the NDI sources for each of them, and that's not that big a deal. In some respects, I like it. I get a better stream out of OBS than I do from Hangouts, but directly. But
well, I think Roger found a huge improvement when he went from Hangouts to Zoom. He said the picture quality, well, and you could see his picture quality was way better.
Well,
and I don't know how all this stuff works, and I'm not a live streamer, so I don't get into technical stuff.
You know, you are a live streamer, but you just jump on other people's live streams.
Exactly. I'm never the host. I'm always the
which, you know, in some respects, I think is much smarter. Back in the days when I had a big boat, I had a lot of friends, you know, that would always be my best friends and go out on the boat with me, and I did all the work and spent all the money, and then when we pulled back into the dock, they all said adios, and then I cleaned up the boat. So who was the smart guy? You know, I think the smart guy were the other guys. StreamYard, that, you know, Thomas, I need to check that out. That's and I forget whose live stream I saw the guy from StreamYard on the other night, but he was on, and nice young kid talking about their startup. It looks like it might be a Google Hangouts replacement. So that may end up in sometime between now and next week, because next Thursday is August 1st, I think. And that'll be the, if Hangouts is indeed gone, I can't imagine that Google isn't going to find I was on Mel's show. Hey, Lloyd is here. Hi, Lloyd. How you doing?
Lloyd.
And yeah, it was Mel's show, and I don't. Mel wasn't using it on that show. He was still using his OBS, but with Skype, I think. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I still can't believe that Google isn't going to replace Hangouts with something. You know, I mean, they've got a such a wide base of users that use this. Either it's costing them too much money, they figured that it was a drag or something, but it's going to be it's going to be wild. You know, the problem in this technology stuff is, Gary, every time you learn how to use something, they take it away from you. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I think, you know, with Google, I mean, Google is huge. It's hard to imagine that they're not going to replace it with something. Maybe there's something going on we don't know. Maybe they bought another company and they're just about to roll out this new product. I don't, you know, time will tell.
You'd think that they'd not leave a hole in the market for the time being. You'd think that they would have something ready to go before they did away with the first thing. But
well,
you know,
there'll probably be something bigger and better, right?
It may be either that, or, you know, the day before August 1st, they will say, never mind. And everything will stay the same. We'll see. So who we got here? We got Love My Drones. How are you? And Lloyd, the grumpy vlogger. Good to see you. How you doing? Mike Kelly's here. Hi, Mike. And I think I got everybody else. Good. Off to a nice little start here. In the Ken Herron warm-up show.
There you go.
Yeah. He's been putting out a lot of videos lately. I just watched one from last week where he did on the water. Did you see that one?
On the water.
Yeah, he was on a pontoon boat with another guy, and
yes, yeah,
that was pretty
yeah,
good.
He did another one too. He did the review of that new
yeah, that reminded me of his review of that other drone. What was the name of that?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
propeller popped off.
Yeah, and a prop popped off. He wasn't, you know, he keeps that up. People aren't going to send him anything to review. Well, but you know what? I appreciate the honesty of it, though, because
Kelly Shores on Ready Set Drone reviewed the same thing and he liked it.
Yeah, and the thing the problem that I have with it is it appears to be very unwieldy unless you mount it on a tripod, because you got the transmitter. You got to have the transmitter hanging close to you somewhere. It's compared to like the smart controller, which is like right there. Everything, you got the screen, you got This just seems to have a lot of Bluetooth connections and wires, and the more of that stuff you have, the more of that stuff you have to stop working right in the middle of your flight.
Oh, and you have to cart it all around, and what got me was Kelly Shores had it hanging on his pocket, and he's flying the thing, but the antennas aren't pointed at the drone.
Right.
And you want to make sure you've got, your I don't know, your antenna's perpendicular to line of sight to the drone, and
yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Stuff, you're going to lose some reception there.
I absolutely agree with you. It just seems too cumbersome, but the concept of flying, with the stick like that, I do believe is going to make it much more natural.
Yeah.
To fly the drone, unless you've learned how to fly the same way with the two sticks.
Yeah.
But I think for the new guys, anybody new to drones, I think it's very natural. I do like the camera tilt control, having not just a wheel, but a bigger thing that actually goes up and down instead of sideways. And you have to remember which way is up and which way is down. I never did like the camera tilt control on any of the DJI remotes. So we'll see, but what is it? It's $350.
Yeah. Well, and that to me, that seems, for somebody as a hobbyist, that's kind of pricey. I mean, my drone sells now for $750 brand new. That's half the price of the drone.
Yeah, it could be. They've got a lot of development costs and tooling costs, and their potential market for that is not in the millions of pieces like other things that might be manufactured for public consumption. It's a very specialized line of customers for those things. So,
well, somebody in China will get a hold of that technology and make it for $100.
Yeah, and that's always the risk you run. They copy everything else. So,
well, I remember back in the day, we got I worked for International Harvester, the farm equipment company, and we sold 10 rice combines to China and thought, this is it. I mean, we're in the money now. China's going to be buying rice combines. 3 years went by, nothing happened. We sent a delegation over, a sales delegation, and as they were driving through the countryside from the airport to the city, they saw hundreds of our combines. They didn't even change the color or the stripes. They got them right bolt for bolt, right down to the last detail.
You'd think it's like Star Trek. They got a replicator. They got a big replicator. They drive your combine in and they start coming out by the thousands.
We took the 10 we sold them and they reverse engineered the hell out of them.
Oh, man. Well, again, who's the smart one?
Well, there you go. Our patent laws don't apply to China.
Yeah, yeah. Hello, Michael McReynolds. How are you? Welcome. And I just gave you a blue wrench. So the next time that you post something, you'll be blue like the rest of us. I don't know if that really means anything to anybody, but
yeah, maybe it makes you feel like you belong. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Anybody else like to join in the chat here in the panel? You're certainly welcome. I've sent a bunch of links, and if I didn't send you a link, it's because I didn't have your email address. So if you'd like to chime in, we're going to do this till, I guess, about 8 o'clock, right before Ken, and just send me your email address. Put it in the chat there. If you're private and don't want your email address out there, just email it to me, oldguyinadrone@gmail.com. So one more person to jump on a troll. You're right about that. Hey, back from the sky. Hello, old man. No, I'm an old guy. Not an old man yet, just an old guy.
And we have Jerry Freeman is a new.
Yes, Jerry Freeman. Do we know you? I don't know who Jerry Freeman is. Let's just take a look at his channel here real quick and see what he does. He does flying around a water tower, DJI Spark. Well, Jerry, if you're a droner, Jerry has 112 subscribers on his channel right now, and I'm going to become number 113, and Six Flags Over Texas. He's got a video running there. So welcome, my friend.
Game now.
Yeah, good. So thanks for stopping by. We'll see if we can't make you a star, as big a star as I can make you with my meager little following. And we're going to go ahead and give you your blue wrench, so you fit right in. Because droners should be blue. Man, you're just 116. Man, look at this. Everybody is on the bandwagon for you, my friend. And I'm sure that everybody that has done it would appreciate that if you check out their channels as well. And if you like what you see, give them a little support. And that's about all I'm going to say as far as support goes, because that's not really the kind of channel that this is. This channel is basically just a bunch of old guys shooting the crap around and about nothing in particular, except drones
I announced today on Pusa Studios that I'm no longer accepting new subscribers. All my flights are full.
Hey, Conrad's here. How you doing?
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Carlos, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well.
Good to see you.
Charging my batteries. Went out today and flew about 12 packs.
Whoa, that's more flying than I've done in my whole life, I think.
I told you a million times not to exaggerate. Excuse me.
Yeah. Are you so you're flying all those new drones, huh?
I'm flying the Jap, and I'm also playing with the ET-115 that I repaired, and one that I cut the prop guards off. It's nice. Having fun.
Cool. Michael McReynolds asked me if I got the street sign from Jim Wallace. Yes, sir, I did. Jim was nice enough to make that for me, and I really appreciate it. I don't see him in the chat here, but he usually stops by. I see that Paul Murray is here. Hi, Paul. How are you? Glad you stopped by to say hello.
Let me get my other phone, and I'll help you with the chat.
Sure. So thanks, guys. Thanks for coming in, help me out. With me, I mentioned last Thursday that they're speaking to Jim Wallace. Here he comes. I got myself a 3D printer. I tell you about that last week. I think I showed you some pieces.
Fantastic. I got something wrong with my lighting here. I've got
yes, your head is in the dark.
I just did a live stream and everything was perfect, and now it's messed up for some reason.
That's my fault, probably.
I don't think so.
Well, we see the lower half of your face. Everything below your nose is going down. That's
I'm going to try a few things.
Let me see if I can kind of
Duplicate it.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know how this. I unplugged the camera. I've got a Logitech webcam, and it's worked perfect until now.
But that's the strangest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it is the strangest thing I've ever seen. With the dark on top. Yeah, that's wild. Well,
I'm going to go check that. I'll be back in a second.
Gary,
I've got my Logitech app here, and I look fine on that. So I don't know what's going on.
Hey, okay, Jim. Well, straighten it out and come back in. You got the link.
Okay, I'll be back.
Darth's dad. Yeah, that's a Darth Vader look. Oh man. Anyway, Thomas O'Sullivan says now I got him looking at 3D printers. Well, you want to see something cool? Here, I'll show you something cool. There's a time lapse that I shot of a part that I printed the other day for my 3D printer. In fact, that's what I've been doing. I've been printing parts for the 3D printer, and I've actually printed a couple of parts for the drone already. And I bought one roll of red PLA filament. So I figured that, you know, red is my new favorite color for 3D printing, since it's the only color that I have. But I wanted to show you what was really cool. I thought maybe we talk a little bit about 3D printing, and I want to get rid of this here, and I want to see if I can get. I got some pictures here of some of the stuff that I printed for my 3D printer. So here we go. This the wheel is designed to feed the filament, and it doesn't come with one of those. So you print that part out there on top, and underneath I upgraded the extruder feeder thing from the plastic that it came with to this metal piece, and that cost about $15. And that's about all the money I actually spent on upgrading anything on this printer. But I really liked that particular upgraded part. And then this thing that you see. Who's talking?
Oh, that was just my wife. Speaking.
Oh, hi. How you doing?
I have my glasses. Hi. Making jam.
She's making jam.
Okay.
We picked raspberries today. So.
All right, I'll have some when it's ready.
Get into
So at any rate, the thing you see in the on the right there on the top is since the Ender 3 that I bought actually has a fan up top, and crap from the printer, but you know, when you're cleaning it off falls in there, they have a print that for a cover, a vent cover, and that's what that thing is. So I made that and installed it. This is the piece that you saw running that 3D where is it here? Here, this is printing that piece up. And what that does is that covers the thing. You see the thing on the end is black. That's a SD card slot. And the problem is the SD card slot that's in the front of the printer is so small and so far down the bottom that you almost have to tilt the printer back to get the card in and out. And it's a real pain in the neck. So somebody came up with this. You buy this little extension, very cheap, that has a ribbon cable, and it plugs into the old slot. And most of the solutions for that holder for that thing have the cables running all over. So somebody came up with this one where the cable actually fits inside of it and houses it. So that makes it a lot easier, because you have to every time you want to, you don't have a direct hookup from at least not until you get real fancy with it. You have to basically take your SD card out, copy the print file from your computer, put it back in the printer. So you're moving this SD card around a lot. And you don't
that little black part that we see.
Yeah,
there. That was the part that was in front of his camera that cut off the top.
Probably. Well, I see his whole head now. He's wearing a black hat. That's the problem. So let me finish with these pictures, and then I'll get back to the rotating. Now, the next thing that you print is since there's a big space in there, you print a little tool tray that fits in there, and that slides in and out. So I got that printed. And then if you look underneath the print head, there's a fan shroud that actually blows directly on the print nozzle. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's right there in the center. Can you see the print nozzle and see the shroud? So that's a little part, and I printed that with the 3D printer. And let's see if there's any more pictures here. And then this thing is a filament guide to keep the filament from pulling straight down into the extruder.
Like
and that
sewing machine.
Yeah, so that right. So I printed that piece out. So you know, and then if you look underneath the LCD display, they don't come. There's no cover, so there's a cover you print for that. So you know, I got done. But printing all these things really gives you a lot of practice with the printer, and that's good. However, you might say that it's kind of a waste if all you print with your 3D printer is stuff for your 3D printer.
Where do you get the, I don't know, I'll call it the plan or whatever you need to print that?
There's a number of websites, but the biggest website repository of 3D printable items is called Thingiverse.
Oh, okay, I've heard of that. Yeah.
And it was started by MakerBot, who was really the first company, it seemed, that went into the consumer-based 3D printers. And people just upload everything to MakerBot. So you just do a Google search and type in something rough that I want a fan shroud for the cover of my Ender 3, and boom, you'll get links to MakerBot, and you can find anything. And just to show you how true that is, I have, you remember, the little Acrobat 3-inch drone that I built. Okay, well, I have this little Firefly camera that I don't use anywhere because now I got a Runcam 5, which is much better. It's bigger. It's about the size of a GoPro Hero Session. And I just, for grins, I said, nah, there's no way I'm going to find this, but I'm going to search for it. So I typed in Firefly mount Acrobat and hit enter. And
sure enough,
boom, this came up.
Wow.
So I also got some TPU. Now, you know what TPU is. That's, flexible phone cases. Yeah. It's just very, very flexible and soft stuff, but you 3D print with it. And so I figured that, let me try printing that thing in TPU. So I did, and I put it on a drone, but it's so soft and it's not real heavy. It's a fairly thin thing that it didn't hold the camera well enough, and I didn't think it was going to protect the camera. So I went back and I printed it in plastic.
Oh, okay.
And interestingly enough, it actually, as you can see, it actually had the exactly right where it mounts on the blue cross pieces, and then the one up at the top has another cross piece up at the top here. Mm-hmm. And it bolted right on perfectly. The only thing about it is they didn't make any provisions to hold the camera in. So I used a tiny little battery strap here and put it around it, because this thing otherwise will slide right out the sides. See?
And Firefly has its own SD card you can install, right?
Yeah, there's an SD card in the Firefly, and that's on the side here. And by putting this battery strap around them, it covers up the SD card to keep it from falling out. So I just got done this last night. I haven't flown it with it on there yet, but I'm going to try it out. It's not the greatest camera, but to put a big GoPro size camera on this little tiny drone, I thought would seem kind of weird. So, but that's something that I printed with my 3D printer. Maybe the first useful thing.
So Mitch, how do you get the information from a website into your 3D printer now?
Well, you download what's called an STL file. Okay.
Okay.
And you download the STL file, and then you have to go into what they call a slicer. And a slicer is a software program that takes an STL file, which is the output of a CAD or drawing program, and prepares the layers for a 3D printer. And in the slicer software is where you have a myriad of different kinds of settings that, what kind of material they're using. What do you want the bed temperature to be? What do you want? Now, they have profiles of standards for this stuff, but you can adjust the layer thickness. I mean, it's tremendous. And I've watched, spent half the week watching YouTube videos and learning a little bit about it.
But that's over the internet, and you put that file on a what to get it into the printer. That's what
on the little micro SD card, SD card. You copy it from there, you stick it in the printer, and then you hit the button on the printer, and it says print from the SD card, and then it lists the files. You select the one you want, you hit enter. First thing it does, it warms up the bed, then it warms up the heating element, and then bingo, starts printing. And if it's and if everything works out right, you don't get a 3-foot ball cotton candy. You actually get something that looks like a.
Hey, Mitch.
Yeah.
The problem was I'm on an Apple laptop, and the laptop camera was turned on instead of my Logitech, and that Apple camera is crap and low light. So once I put my Logitech C922 on it, everything was fine.
Okay, cool.
How much did that 3D printer cost, and how long did it take? I know it takes a long time.
Well, that was the amazing thing. I got it from Amazon on Prime Day.
Wow, good deal.
And it's the Ender 3, and I got it for $169.
Well, that's
Cheap.
100, yeah, but the regular price is only like $229, and it's a terrific printer. And the version that I got, I watched a lot of videos over the last year on this Ender 3 because it's the one that Mel recommended. Let me stop for a second, say hello to Chris Hope. Hi, Chris. How you doing? Just noticed you here in the chat.
I think he's got a cold.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope you feel better. Anyway, the Ender 3 seems to be the single most popular printer, and for the money, it's built beautifully. And some of the weak points you print up the graphic stuff that make it a little better. And that's what I did. And the fun part of that is if you're new to it, like I am, you get to practice printing things, and actually have something that you can use them on. But for $169, I spent about $25 on stuff between the all metal extruder assembly and the extension for the SD card. I spent $20 on each for 2 rolls of TPU, but I haven't even, with all that stuff I've printed with that red TPU, I haven't used 10% of the roll yet. So wow. That stuff is, is a lot of.
Did you buy some? Did you buy some accessories for it that speeds it up or does something?
No, I haven't. There's all kinds of things you can do, but sometimes you can improve something right out of business. It works great, and the quality of the prints is beautiful. Even with just the 0.2 millimeter layer height, which is they call draft setting. It really does a nice job, and for that kind of money, it's even for $229, it's incredible. I had been putting off entering into this because I figured it's not going to work. I'm going to get frustrated. I'm going to end up with all kinds of crap and using up a lot of plastic and probably end up throwing the thing away. But man, the first print that I made on that printer was the little wheel for the extruder, and it came out perfectly. So I said,
Mitch, I've been following that stuff, and I watch all the videos, and I was almost ready to buy one, but I've got so many. I got my feet in so many different technologies right there. I don't know if I've got room for one more.
Well, you're a natural.
But I do have a small CNC router. It cost about $300, and there's a sign back there. I routed that. That takes about 15 minutes. The 3D printers are so damn slow. I mean, you can take a day to do something, and that router just quick. So I'd like to have one, and but I've got my foot in all kinds of technologies, and every time you get in one thing, you have to follow up and get the updates and study that. And I know about 3D. I've done 3D graphics for visual effects, but not 3D CAD type of thing. I've done 3D graphics like flying logos and that kind of stuff. It's the same thing, but some 3D programs have an output to save files in certain ways, and I loved it. That sounds like a good printer you've got. I know there's that 3D printer works exactly like my CNC router. It's a it's an XYZ deal.
Works out plastic instead of cutting things. Yeah.
There's one company that makes a convertible. You can cut with it. You can laser cut. You can route it, or you can have a little nozzle of melt plastic. It does all three. It's the same machine. It just just how you set it up.
Well, it's pretty cool. Drone Shots wants to see something I printed. Well, this is the first thing I printed that wasn't for the 3D printer. I printed a little camera mount for this drone. So there it is, and it came out great. I also printed one in TPU, but I think I put it on the drone, and it was just a little too flexible, as thin as it was. So I printed.
How long did that take?
This little thing only took about an hour and 20 minutes to print. But the little,
that's good.
Little Firefly camera slides right in here. And then I just put a little battery strap around it, and it holds it in and keeps it. And that's one of my first things. I just got done showing a whole bunch of pictures. You missed it, Drone Shots, of all the stuff that I printed for my 3D printer, which all the tool drawer and the. But I did do I'll show you this. I did do a time lapse of the holder for the micro SD card and the cover that goes on the front of the Ender 3, and that
3D card, is that included, or is that something you bought separate?
No, they do give you an 8 gigabyte card, which these files are small. You could you'll never use that much, but this part here is probably the longest. This print took about 4.5 hours. In fact, if you look over at the display there on the, I see it's backwards here on the right-hand side, you'll see the count. You'll see the time counting up. See where it says 4, took just about 5 hours. Can you see the timer counting up? 2 hours.
Your time lapse was a very smart way to demonstrate that. It's
Well, I used a GoPro Hero 7 and I set it to one picture every 30 seconds. And I've seen a lot of them on the internet, and I just thought it would be really cool to watch it. But that's a 5-hour little proposition there. And then you see a lot of the guys, they have a situation where they get almost done. You get to the last 10 minutes and then it screws up and you end up with a big ball of tiny strands of things. What's
the maximum size you can make with that?
I think it's the bed is
looks like it's fairly tall.
It is. You could probably 285 millimeters by 285, or 250 by 250 by 285, something like that.
50 millimeters is about 2 inches.
No, 250 millimeters. It's about 8 inches. Yeah, it's
that's pretty good size.
Wide. Yeah, bigger than anything I would need to print, especially for the hobby.
Can you print an emu with it?
Sorry, Carlos, what'd you say?
Can you walk away from that machine, or that's something you have to be there and
no, you can leave it alone, because some of these huge prints are 2-3 day affairs. If you're printing real slow with a real fine nozzle, you can't sit there and watch it all the time.
Right. No, I'm saying, let's say you print at 8 in the morning, you can go out and come back at night, whatever time, and it's okay.
Yeah, and if it goes wrong, it's going to spew. It's going to look like a 6-foot wide ball of cotton candy. It's not going to hurt anything, because once that stuff gets out of the extruder, it dries, but you can waste a lot of plastic. But I'll tell you what I did. This was I actually got, when I first started, I got an offer to review some webcams from some Chinese company. So I took them up on it. And it wasn't even for YouTube. It was just, they wanted an Amazon review. Okay. So, I took one of those webcams, which actually is from a company called Zmodo, ZMODO, and they took that thing, and it's a webcam, so it connects to the internet, and then they have an app, and I'm going to show you something really cool. And the app works over the internet, so I can open the app here. I'm going to show you this on my phone, and oh, it's cool. The green screen picks up on the blue, but that's cool. So at any rate, I have a smart device, so I'll go live with it. And then what you can see is my 3D printer, because I stuck this little camera right up on the safe next to the desk there, and it aims right at the 3D printer. Can you see that? See the bed of the printer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see it.
Yeah. So what happens is, no matter where I am, anywhere, I can take my cell phone out and I can connect to this thing, and
you're using
see if it's screwed up. Yeah, I have it Velcroed up there, so I can move it up and down if I have to. Then I've got this little cheapy smart plug thing that you get on Amazon that you can also control over the internet. So I plugged the 3D printer into this smart plug thing. And if I've got a 2-day print gone and I'm out somewhere and I take a look and see that it's screwing up, I can go in and turn it off, just shut it off from the cell phone. Now, there's all kinds of more expensive ways to accomplish that same thing with Wi-Fi, God, I can't remember the name. There's technologies out there that allow you to control and monitor your whole thing from the internet, but I don't need anything that fancy. So I figure if I got a way to watch it and shut it off, that's going to be fine. That's all I need. So that's what I did.
And do you have to secure that to the table, or it's heavy enough that there's no vibration?
Oh no, there's no vibration at all.
Nice.
In fact, it's not even that noisy. Everybody complains about you need to do this to make the stepper motors quiet. You need to do that. I walk out of the room, you can't hear it.
Mitch, you've told me all the good stuff. Is there anything so far that you don't like about it?
No, I don't know enough to know what I don't like about it, but it's the Ender 3. Now they make one called the Ender 3 Pro, which costs more money. But in my experiences, for the differences in the Pro one to this one, it's not going to make that much difference to me. And the Pro one is about, I think at this point, $40 or $50 more. To give you supposedly a little better power supply, they mounted the cooling fan underneath instead of on top, so you don't need to make the shroud for it. But it's basically got all the other components are the same. It's got the same. Is that
the same one that Mel uses?
Mel is the one who recommended it. I knew nothing about 3D printing, so a few months ago in one of his live streams,
he actually just joined the chat.
On Ken Herron's microphone, there's a red logo, and Mel made that with his 3D printer.
Well, I could make one too because I have plenty of red stuff. Hi, Mel, how you doing?
By the way, my Mr. Graphic logo is teal, so remember that.
Is what?
Teal.
My Mr. Graphic logo. I made a new. I made a logo today for my channel, Jim Wallace alias Mr. Graphic. I made a monogram, and I stitched a couple caps, and because my Mr. Graphic business is different from Jim Wallace alias Mr. Graphic, and that's the long name. So I came up with a real cool logo, which you may be able to see there. I don't know, but I have a guest. I'm a guest on your channel, but I have a sub guest I'd like to introduce in a little while.
No puppets. No puppets.
Now, I got a call today from the Humane Society.
Yeah.
And I want you to see this. This is legitimate. I swear I'm not harming any emus to make this production.
You sound like my disclaimer here.
Yeah, this is my attorney told me to do this.
During the production of this soundboard, subject to change without notice. Side effects include dry mouth, occasional pig snort or two, sore stomach, teary eyes, achy jaws, and whatever tingles well, laughing hard.
There you go. I haven't played that in a while. The lawyers have been telling me about it.
The Indiana State Fair starts next week, and this is a sample of one of the many signs I make for the people at the State Fair. There's a nice little item, and I've just made two. I made 6 banners, 4 by 10 feet, and I've got a few more of those to make. I can't go out there and hustle like I used to, but everybody out there knows me, and I've got medical issues, and I can't walk around that place like I used to. I used to be out there 8:30 every morning, and for 14 days I was out there making signs, and that's just too much for me now. But on a limited basis, I'm still doing okay out there. I have to get a lot of stuff made before the fair opens, so I've already done $3,000, and the fair hasn't even opened yet.
Hey, I want to show Carlos something. So Carlos, this is a web-based program called Tinkercad, and it's from Autodesk, and it's free, and you can log into this thing, and you can design stuff. So what I needed when I was putting the camera back in here, in the drone here, I'm going to show you the I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Right where the camera mounts. It needs some spacers in there. So I needed some TPU spacers. So this was one of the, besides printing the camera mount, I said that that I can go in here to this Tinkercad and make myself some space
washers, right?
Yeah. So that's what I did. So let's see, view in 3D. There it is. And I made these washers, and you can adjust. It won't let me edit this. I have to click this thing that says tinker this.
Mm-hmm.
So if I do, I don't want to change it. So I made them exactly the right size. I made the hole exactly the size because you type in the measurements. I made them exactly 3.2 millimeters thick, which is what I measured with a caliper. And then I hit download, and it said I can download this as an STL file, and it gave me the STL file, which I then went into my slicer software, which I don't have on this computer. I have it on my computer in the other room, so I can't show it to you. But I just put it in the slicer software, made sure the settings were right, and it output a file with a G-code, G-C-O-D-E extension. That I copied right to the little SD card and stuck it in the printer and said print it, and voila, out came the washers. And I'll show you.
Mitch, can you make me a 3D hamburger with?
You know what? They are printing food, I heard.
Yeah,
you can.
They're printing.
You can actually get some kind of materials made out of soybean, and you can actually, it's edible. You know.
So I
Well,
made.
if you like soybean, it's probably in the same category as Vegemite. But anyway, go ahead, Mitch.
I made two different sizes, because the first ones I printed were a little too thin. But here, there it is.
Wow,
there it is. That's my little
it's
Pretty
malleable, or it's
rough.
stiff.
It's TPU, so it is squishy a little bit.
Okay. Well, that's good for the vibrations.
Yeah, and that for me was just thrilling. And I printed some extras. See them there in the box, all the red washers. And to be able to, in a couple of, and it only took a few minutes to print these because there's not much to them, but to be able to fabricate things like that. So now, of course, the latest challenge is going to be to learn
frame.
Now to learn Fusion 360, which is an Autodesk's professional CAD. It's so complicated. It's amazing. And I'm starting to learn that now. But, you know, that's the one that really, I mean, you could design anything in AutoCAD. You could design the space shuttle with this thing. If you know how to, it's way like Photoshop and Premiere Pro. It is so much more capable of doing things that I would never need.
So
but
you can design your own, basically, whatever you want.
You can design pretty much anything. But I got the 3D printer primarily for the hobby to print parts. Like I bought this one, but I could print this now for my drone. You know, the case for the camera.
Yeah.
I did print this little GPS holder on the back of this. See it?
Oh wow!
And
you looked that up, and sure enough, you found something.
Sure enough, there it was, and it had a thing sticking out the back to hold the a T antenna, the Mortal T, the Crossfire antenna. But I'm not using that. So in this case, rather than go in and I haven't learned how to take somebody else's file, put it in CAD, and modify it. So I just took a little saw blade and cut it off on this one. But
Mitch, those objects seem fairly smooth. I don't see the layers showing up there. How smooth are they?
They're really, really beautifully done. See, you can see them if you get the light on them just right. You can see a little of the layers, but
Oh, it looks polished.
They can be sanded if you have to, but they make a special plastic that looks like wood. How many kinds of plastic have you tried yet?
well, I've just tried the PLA, which is your basic, and the TPU, which is the rubbery stuff. They have filled. They have they have carbon fiber filled, wood filled. They have all kinds of stuff, metal
Mitch,
stuff. Yeah.
Drone Shot says Blender is free.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what
Blender
is.
is another. I think that's another. Well, so believe it or not, Fusion 360, which costs a fortune, is free for hobbyists. They actually have a license for students and hobbyists, and you can go in there and I think they let you use it for up to 3 years. But I can't even imagine that after 3 years you couldn't just go in with a new
There's Mr. Art.
with a new email and get in and start all over again.
Yeah, welcome.
Hey, Art.
Hey there, guys.
How
How
you?
are you, Art?
How
I'm
you
doing
doing?
pretty good. I'm enjoying my gift I got in the mail today.
Oh, Rodney Bell.
Yep, I got that. And
Dun, 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 dun.
What else? We're waiting.
Unveiling
We're waiting here. Oh, what is it?
his T-shirt.
t-shirt.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, Mitch, are
Here's
you going to
a,
try
uh,
doing a frame?
A what?
Drone?
No, it's
You're
not.
gonna
The frame isn't going to be stiff enough out of plastic, even carbon fiber filled plastic. But you know what? You know that you can put bumpers and motor guards that you can do. There's all kinds of parts you can print for these drones.
Mitch,
And,
If
yeah.
you see that picture, I did this with a program called Cinema 3D, and it's not made to run machines, but it's made to make a photographic likeness. And I did this in 3D, and you can actually walk in that theater and open the door and come back out.
Oh, that's cool. That's a
And
lot of
it's
work.
It took about 30 hours to do something like that. I've done several. You can see the sign here says MG Mr. Graphic, and that little thing right there. I scanned a Jurassic Park cover and second. Anyway, it's it's the same type of technology, but instead of geared for machining like CNC, it's geared for visual to make it like in the movies, to make it look photorealistic.
Cool.
Cool.
Drone Shots. You're obviously way ahead of me in 3D printing. He said he's printing with carbon fiber, nylon, metal filled. Do you need to? I read that if you're using that, these filled plastics are very, very tough on print heads, and you need to get a hardened print head instead of brass. Is that true? I can imagine that it might be, but
Hey, can I ask Art a question?
sure.
Mr. Art, that show that you had last with Grumpy Vlogger, when are you going to do it again? Same kind of time.
Oh, it's every Sunday at the same time.
Aren't you on Saturday night, Art?
Yes, that's my Artco show, and the other show is Art's Place.
Oh my
But I don't
God.
remember what time it was.
Hello, Art. Hello,
Okay,
Art.
Sunday at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, your
So
time.
that's
You're
3 time.
New York,
3 o'clock.
so it'd be 3 p.m. Yep.
Cool.
hmm
I like that show. I had fun on
Cool. Great.
it. Enjoyed it.
Yep. Hit that
Hey, Art,
bell.
Art, I
I
made
do, I
you
do.
a sign, but I haven't seen it lately. You
You
got
know
it
what?
hidden back there.
It's right behind the green screen. And this weekend, what I'll do is I'll take a photograph of it and I'll incorporate it into my online studio. If you haven't been watching Artco or Art's Place, I have a new studio, virtual studio, and it looks really nice. So I will incorporate that sign into the set.
So you got a green screen. Good for you.
Yep. hmm And Gary, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Yeah,
We did that show on Saturday. I thought that was,
that was a lot of fun.
yeah, we had a
Yeah.
great.
hmm
So you're doing a lot of live streams, Art. What are you doing in your spare time?
Well, I have a job. I work at a dental manufacturing company making braces for teeth.
And we see you having lunch.
Yeah, I've been kind of experimenting, doing a live stream using my cell phone. And since the company is cheap, they don't have really good Wi-Fi there. So I'm getting a lot of buffering. So I don't know if I'll be doing the live lunch talk show.
You know, I don't know how you come up with. I'm lucky to come up with stuff to fill 2 hours in a week on these lunches. Unless I'm. I wanted to.
Okay.
I wanted to show you, talk about something while I'm thinking, because I mentioned building drones, and I have just ordered something for that I'm going to do my next live stream build. And let me go here.
What are you going to build?
I'm going to build a Tyro 129. It's the new drone that came out, and I saw that Andy RC was like the first guy in the world to get one of these things to review, and he went and reviewed it. And I want to get the Banggood page up here and show you. So let me find it. It's
so here. You have flown your 3-inch so far, right, Mitch?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And your 5-inch.
I've flown them all. I don't just put up all the same videos a time.
No. But I wanted to ask you notice any difference in the flight characteristics?
Yeah, the 5 inches are definitely a little more stable, and they hang a little better, and you can feel the difference. You can definitely feel the difference in the stability of them. They're just
so they're more stable.
They're more stable. They're smoother, and that's true of anything that flies, pretty much. But what I wanted to show you is this Tyro one. Now, I built the Tyro 79, which is a 3-inch drone.
You had a lot of you had to change that up.
Yeah, I changed a bunch of stuff in that, but I built the Tyro 99. That was the first drone that I built. And I built the Tyro 99 because it was cheap for $100.
I think Mel wants to join and give you a quick tip.
Sure.
Yeah, I have to back out.
I'll always take advice. At any rate, let me get back to what I'm talking about here.
I'm meant to clean my pool, so I'm going to head off.
Oh, okay, Gary. Well, thanks for coming in. I always appreciate anybody that comes in early and bails me out, so I don't sit here talking to myself. So I do appreciate that.
John, when you start, but
I forwarded the Hangouts to Mel. So.
Oh, okay, fine, good. Yeah, I need to put his email address in my list here.
Do you actually buy stuff from Banggood?
Oh yeah.
Really?
It just takes forever to get it, but I had never had a problem. And one time I actually had to cancel an order and got the refund pretty quick, so it was not a problem. But this is the Tyro. It's a 7-inch drone.
Oh wow.
Okay. It's a 7-inch drone. It comes with, and this is the video that Andy RC did. It comes with. Let me show you some pictures. It comes with everything, including a GPS module, because it's designed to be a long-range drone. It comes with the GoPro mount. Comes with the antenna. It has what looks like a very capable flight controller in it. 2 sets of props. A CADX.
I see $129.
A CADX F2 camera, which is a premium camera, FPV camera, 1200 TVL camera. I'm telling you, $129.
Looks like an unbelievable deal.
120, and it comes with the GPS. It has Betaflight 4.1 on it, with everything is, which enables GPS rescue. The GPS is the same one I'm buying from Race Day Squad, the BN 220 GPS that has they just stuck an Eachine label on it, but it's the same. It's exactly the same GPS that's on my little quad right here. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like $16. So you start adding this stuff up. $50 for a flight controller and ESC, even if you get a bargain one, and the frame and the motors and the camera mount, for the Hero Session or the Runcam 5, the transmitter antenna, all this stuff for $129. And I mean, if you started buying individual parts for these things, you're talking, to build a drone like this is $300. So I ordered two.
The Tyro what? I'm sorry.
129.
Tyro 129.
Right. So I went ahead and I ordered two of them, and because they had a discount coupon, I ended up paying $118 a piece for them. And
spare parts.
Yeah, either spare parts or because I could take most of the components from this are standard components. I could take the camera and the flight controller and the VTX and all that stuff and build anything out of it with any frame. It doesn't have to be this one. So,
I see.
But look, like I say, it has the CADX. It has the CADX camera. Now, I mean, I'm not trying to. I could I have an affiliate account with Banggood, but I don't have the link, and I don't care if anybody buys it or not for me. But I think that for $129, this is quite a lot of stuff. It's a big quad. It's a 7-inch quad, but the motors aren't really much bigger than what's used on a 5-inch. This is not made to be a racing quad,
but it looks light because it's thin. The arms.
Yeah, it is. But this is a layout of all the different pieces you get. You do get dowel propellers. You get name brand props. You get the name brand GBS. You get it looks like almost a plug and play controller. Very little soldering necessary.
Does it give you the weight after built?
Yeah, there was a thing like 356 grams before the battery. So it's not. Some of these 5-inch quads with the battery are 600 grams. Like that. Like this thing here. This. The Marmot. The Marmot is heavy drone. It flies just stable as hell. I got the same GPS module on this thing. What
kind of flight times do you get out of that with what battery?
I use a 1500 4-cell, and I get between 5 and 6 minutes because I don't rock. I cruise.
But still, that's good. That's a good cruising.
Yeah, and it's a good flying drone. And I do more flying than I really let on or show videos of. And it's funny. I thought that this beginner FPV thing might be a good shtick, so I'm trying to hang on to that beginner FPV thing and not look like I'm advancing too fast. But
so when you go out, how many?
Reality, I'm doing a lot better. I'm doing a lot better at this than I let on.
Do you do a
looks like a Mitch? It looks like a sports car version of a photo drone.
It is, and this this Tyro 129 is designed to be a cinematic drone. It's big. It's designed to fly smooth. It's still going to go 70, 80 miles an hour. I mean, it's not going to be a puppy dog, not a little slow drone, but for $129 and
such a deal.
Andy RC has 3 or 4 videos up about this now, and I ordered them, and it said when I ordered them they weren't going to ship till August the 2nd. But they shipped them. They shipped them 2 days after I ordered them. So I got notice that they had shipped. And
sounds like an amazing deal. And if it's half as good as it looks, it'll be a winner.
I think so. Even if you have to, the only problem I had with the Tyro 79 was those small motors on there vibrated like hell. The Tyro 99 motors work great. These motors are closer or a little bigger than the ones on the Tyro 99. They should be fine. But even if you got to spend, you can get the Emax Eco motors for $12 a piece. So even if you have to spend $50 to put really good motors on this thing, it's still a deal. But I'm hopeful that these motors will work. And I just couldn't. I said, you know what? At this price, I better snap. They're going to go fast. I better snap a couple of them up. And so I got two of them. I figure one of them, I either build two of them or well, you buy two at a time, don't you, Carlos?
Yes, I try.
Yeah.
At that price, you can sell those suckers on the street corner and make money on them.
I told him I'd buy one off of him one day if he ever wants to sell it, but he treats them like their children.
Well, it's like money in the bank, having drones on the wall, especially in a hobby where on a bad day you can wipe out half your inventory,
Mitch, real quick, because I know Mel's here. When you fly, how many packs do you usually do? 3, 5, 6?
Maybe 4, that's all.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm not a marathon in anything that I do. I just fly a little.
Not a marathon, just more practice.
To do, just to keep my and besides, I go out in the morning, and before you know it, it's either getting windy
Steaming.
Or it's hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I usually take 2 drones and maybe 8 packs out. 2,
Oh, okay.
And I'll fly maybe 4 or 5 packs. It depends on what I'm doing. If I'm out at the flying field and the guys are out there, they're all talking, I'll sit around and talk for a while. I've always been that way when it comes to flying. I don't feel like I have to be in the air all the time. And Mel is rebroadcasting back to us what's on our stream. So what you up to, Mel?
Well, I'm sharing here because I wanted to show you. Now, I'm no ace with Tinkercad, but I've been using it for quite a while. So just a real quick little thing here that might help you start when you start making frames, printing frames and things. It's an X, basically, right?
Right.
So you need 2 pieces. These happen to be 10 by, let's make them an even 100 just for round numbers, right? So we'll make them an even 100 long. So they're 10 by 100. But you need them at a 45-degree angle, is that right?
Or you can change the angle. Some of them, they have stretched X's, or like the Marmot is actually, if you look at, here, let me put it back on me a second. So you can see, if you look at the Marmot, it's actually
okay,
flat X.
Right.
Some of them actually front to rear look like this. And I guess they have different handling characteristics, but the standard drone is just definitely a straight X. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to do this really, really quick. Like I'm going to make this one at a 45-degree angle, and I'm going to make this one at a minus 45-degree angle so that it'll tilt the other way, right? Do you use the ruler?
I haven't. The only thing I've ever made in Tinkercad so far is 6 little donut-looking washers. That's it. I'm
okay.
Real well, at this.
Here's the nice thing about using the ruler that you drag down from the corner. This particular piece here, okay? If you see the number from the left edge, it's minus 35 or 30.59.
Right.
If you zero that, it'll bring it even to the left edge. And then this one brings it to this bottom edge. So you zero that. Then you go to your other one and you zero that number there and you zero this number here. Now those 2 things are perfectly crossed dead center on each other.
Have you ever used Fusion? Have you tried Fusion 360?
I've looked at it and I played with it, but I'm no ace with it yet.
It scares you, but see, Fusion has controls that you can select those 2 parts and say, make them concentric, make them this way, make them tangent.
Right.
And snap everything right where it belongs.
One of the other things I wanted to show you, for making your motor mounts, I thought there was a teardrop in here somewhere. I guess not. We'll just use the cylinder. So I made the frame 2 millimeters thick. So I'll bring this down to 2 thick, right? Whoops.
So you're actually printing FPV frames out of what?
I'm not printing FPV frames at all.
No, you're saying it for you.
I'm just doing this to show you a couple little tricks.
I thought maybe you actually had printed a frame.
No. But you see, when you made your washers, they were I'll raise this up and make it bigger so you can see it. See how it's not actually round?
I thought mine were round.
No, the ones that you showed on the screen had these edges.
Really?
Yeah. If
No.
you look, when you're clicked on the item,
Let me pull
okay.
that back. Let me pull mine back up again so I can see. Hold on a second here.
Hey,
Go ahead,
Mel, while
talk,
he's
and
looking,
I'll
have you
catch up
flown your
with you.
tiny hawk?
well, see, but you see how it's got all the edges because it's not actually
Yeah, I see,
round.
okay, I see what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Okay. Up here on the controls where you can either make it hollow or make it a different color, the side option, slide that all the way over, and that gives it 64 sides.
Where were the controls? I didn't see where you clicked.
All you got to do is click on the item, and if it's a round item, it gives you the slider. You see now, now it's got 12 sides.
Wall thickness,
Oh, I see.
radius, sides. Oh, I see. You can
see how it's.
Yeah, I see
how
what you're saying.
See
Yeah,
what I mean?
I get you.
You can, if
Cool.
if you max that out, it makes it actually round, and it's the same thing with the hole when you make a hollow.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I get you.
You can actually make. I'm going to center all of these up just for giggles. Okay. So now I'm going to, whoops, I just moved that by mistake. So let's say this was your washer. I'm going to delete the frame because we don't need it. But let's say this piece right here is the washer you made. I always drop the center hole down below the surface just to make sure that it goes all the way through.
Yeah.
And then I make maximum side count so that it actually becomes round. And then when you merge it together, you have, and you print it, you actually get a round instead of a 15 or 20 or 30 sided.
I appreciate that. You know, I've been at this for a whole week now, so I got a lot to learn here.
But that's just a little trick I learned for making things actually be round if you want round items.
Well, I plan on really diving into Fusion. And of course, Fusion, when you create something round, it's round. You don't have to worry about how many. I don't think there's a setting for that in there. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that Tinkercad is sure. You know, it's the same company. You know, Autodesk is Tinkercad.
Yeah, and
they're also Fusion 360. But it's you know, to whip out those little washers, it was certainly the only tool I could figure I could do it with, and I got a great deal of satisfaction out of actually doing that and having it produce something that I made with a drawing rather than just download a file off a Thingiverse, you know.
And exactly. And you know, the other thing is I haven't printed it yet, but I made a box right here. I'm going to open this up so that y'all can see what it is. It's actually upside down right now. Okay. But this post right here, I got to put a quarter 20 thread hole in the middle of it. And then I have a bracket that mounts to my Mavic 2 Zoom and Pro that allows you to mount a quarter 20 item on the top of the drone in between all the props.
Okay. So
this will set on top of the drone. This top box right here will hold my big 4 LED white strobe. The 3 sides hold my red, white, and green strobes. And then this piece here, when I put it on there, this becomes the top.
No,
and
we don't see the screen. What you're showing.
Oh, I quit sharing, didn't I?
Yeah, we're watching you. I'm waiting.
Oh, geez. I forgot that I had to.
That's all right.
Share.
When you have a lot of parts that go together, you have to look at tolerances. That's a little tricky.
It's not at all tricky, Jim. Not at all.
What's
not in CAD.
20?
It's not.
Okay, so there you go. Now
quarter 20. What is that?
So I made the piece that slides directly over this. I'm going to center it up a little bit because I need to make it move. this way. And now I need to move it back forward because it doesn't actually fit quite centered. But the top piece slides over and all the boxes are now a little bit covered by the top piece, so the strobe lights can't fall out.
Oh, I see. I get you.
Okay, so if I move that piece straight down, you'll see how much it covers inside each box.
I get you. Okay.
Right. And then with a 1/4 thread on the very bottom, I can mount it to that threaded tripod mount on the drone. And I have a box now for 4 strobe lights.
Well, that's cool. Are you going to put one of those brass inset type things in it for the threads, or are you going to cut the threads into plastic?
I haven't decided yet how I'm going to do it. If I'm going to drill it, if I print this as nearly solid, like 98% solid for the infill, then I can probably drill it and tap it if I do it really carefully. So, but I haven't decided yet.
Print the threads. You could actually.
You can, but that's not as easy to do in Tinkercad.
Well, I'll tell you what, they do make these insets that screw in. You know, in other words, you
it's
a metal. And if you're going to hang something on a drone with I would definitely want it to screw into something metal, not just plastic.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. It's called a helicoil insert. And,
exactly, that's it.
So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to drill that out and then glue a helicoil insert in it. But anyway, that's the latest piece that I've designed. I haven't yet printed it because I'm working 12 hours a day and I need to wait until I'm going to be home on Saturday and Sunday when I can actually print the thing.
Like Art, you've got a lot of spare time too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Mel. Appreciate that. That's you're doing great with this stuff. You're
that tip to make things round when you actually want a round bushing, that adjusting the sides on the round item really, really works well.
Oh, I can imagine. I don't even know why they don't start with round, why they have to fasten it up like that, but who knows? At any rate, just 3D printing, you know, I'm getting overloaded here. I don't know if you know this, but I mean, I'm new to FPV. Now I'm new to 3D printing, and now I'm going to be new to CAD. But it's a challenge, and it does keep you. It does keep you sharp. They say that as you get older,
exercise your brain.
Keep using your brain, and I'm going to tell you, try to learn this Fusion 360 is kind of like the mental equivalent of an Arnold Schwarzenegger workout in the gym. It's brutal.
Yeah, it's hard to learn.
It is,
but
really
once you get the hang of it, it's an amazing tool.
I mean, if you've seen these drawings that these big companies use that are fully animated and rendered with all of the lighting, and this will do all of that. It's just so friggin', and it's got the McAllister catalog completely inside it. Every friggin' screw, wing nut, washer, component, part you can bring into your drawing from this. It's just an unbelievable piece of software, and I think you can get away by learning just the basics you do the 2D sketches and then you extrude them and how to work on the different planes. And if you learn the basics, I think I can learn enough to get away with not having to learn how to do all the really esoteric stuff.
Art, whatever you're doing, you're annoying at the voice stuff.
What are you doing?
A balloon?
He's blowing up a balloon and goofing off on the microphone.
Now, what's 1/4 Are those sizes? When you
That's a thread size, yeah. 20, a 1/4 inch hole with 20 threads to the end.
Yeah, quarter inch diameter with 20 threads per inch. That's what 1/4 stands for, and that's a standard tripod thread.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
in fact, that's a standard 1/4 inch. That's your most basic 1/4 inch thread size. 1/4 20.
Yeah, and that's all tripods are the bolt on the tripod that you screw in the bottom of your camera or whatever, that's all of that's quarter 20.
Which is neat considering if it comes from Japan or China or places where they traditionally use metric, when you buy camera equipment, you get quarter 20.
Yep. But anyway. All right, guys.
Ira 129.
Wait, one question for Mel. Mel, any batteries in your Tiny Hawk?
And say that again?
Have you done any more Tiny Hawk flying?
I haven't had time, brother.
Oh, okay.
I've been getting up at 4 in the morning. I'm at work between 5 and 5:30. I'm at the gravel pit between 6 and 6:30, out of there loaded and hauling rock all day. I just got home about 30 minutes ago.
I understand. All right,
So,
looking forward to it. Oh, you're going to try to learn acro?
For the early bird crowd like me.
Hey, Mel,
Jerry
Cavalry just basically said, use an insert. He said the PLA threads don't hold up too well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, especially if you're flying it around on your drone, you wouldn't want the thing to fly off because it's likely to get sucked into their propellers, and that would be ugly.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to show you guys something that I made a long time ago. I'm going to hold this up in front of my camera, and let me change over to Hangouts here so I can see it. It's a square frame, okay, with 2 little dangly pieces on it. Now, when I made this, I made the shaft just a wee bit. I made the hole actually a little bit bigger than the shaft so that it would float free. Okay. My intention for this design was for it to be able to fold up flat. And I accomplished that except for the 2 little tabs there. So when you open this thing up and set it on your desk, it's adjustable, and it'll hold a cell phone. It'll hold a tablet.
Oh, pretty neat.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
And the hooks are high enough so that when you use like an iPad tablet, you can set it up there long ways and still be able to plug the cable in at the bottom.
That's pretty neat.
So
Hey, Mel,
that's
Mel,
one of my early builds.
Mel, do you and Mitch have the same 3D printer?
Me and who?
Me, Mitch.
You and Mitch.
No.
What do you have? What do you have?
No, Mitch has a Fusion.
No, I have an Ender.
An Ender 3.
Yeah.
I have basically a Creality CR10.
Oh, okay.
It's an ANET E12 is what it is. And then I have another one, and I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's a dual color printer. It has 2 feeders, so I can hang 2 spools and print 2 different colors at the same time. So I can have it switch back and forth between colors, or I can start out in one color like gray and add white or blue, and it'll change, and it'll actually melt the 2 colors together.
Oh, that's cool.
And do a gradient. So this was the first test print. No, this was the second test print off of that dual color printer.
Cool.
I don't remember what the name of the printer is, but it works really, really good. And I'm going to tell you something. When you start having trouble, when your printer starts acting up, and why is it locked on Art?
It isn't.
No, it's
Because I'm handsome.
That's debatable.
And modest.
And modest.
When you start having trouble with your printer, Mitch, and you start struggling to get good adhesion on your layers or any kind of issue, it's probably not the printer. It's probably the filament. When I'm going to print something now, I put my filament in the oven with the oven light on for like 3 days. And believe it or not, that generates enough warmth inside the oven to draw the moisture out of the filament. If your noodle gets wet, it won't stand up.
I'll tell you what really surprised me is that the first time I use that PLA, and that stuff is so flexible. You say, how in the hell could that thing actually
PLA
work?
or TPU?
TPU rather worked in a Bowden tube, and damn, if it worked, it worked perfectly.
It does.
I told
It's
you,
amazing.
I printed this little rubbery camera mount,
Yep.
and this is almost too soft. I think that for these type of camera mounts, I need to get a semi-rigid TPU, not the regular.
No, you use that. Just print it a 0.5 millimeter smaller.
Well, this is what I bought. This one here for my Hawk.
Yeah, well, use the stuff you're using. Just print it a 0.5 millimeter smaller so that you actually have to stretch it just a little bit.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. But this has 3 times the wall thickness all around too, which makes it a little stiffer.
Yeah,
but it just feels like it's a stiffer.
And you don't know what the infill was used on that either. Was it honeycomb, triangle, whatever?
I don't know. I would have to cut it open. I would have to cut it open.
So just do like a honeycomb infill, and do a 60% or 70% infill.
Yeah, then you got almost a solid.
And then it'll make it more rigid. It'll firm it up incredibly. You'll like it. You'll have to play with it the way you'll have to play with the filament with the infill to see what degree you want to use to get the result you're looking for.
Well, like I say, it's a learning process, but it's fascinating. It's fascinating, and I'm glad I did it. And for $169, it wasn't that big a deal.
And for with that TPU, if you start out right off the bat, just making it thicker, what was the wall thickness on the one you made?
Probably this piece was probably way too small.
Well, 3 or 4 millimeters, make it 6 or 8,
Yeah.
Is there a better, I don't know if the word is brand or type of this material?
Well, there's a lot of different brands and manufacturers, and you go on YouTube, and this guy's swearing by this one, and that guy's swearing by that one, and I don't know, Mel, what do you like? What do you use?
There's a guy that I follow pretty heavily, 3D Printing Nerd.
Yeah, I watch him. He's good.
And he promotes a company called Protopasta.
Protopasta?
Yep. Yep. And it's a really good filament. They're on top of the game.
How's it priced?
Huh?
Priced reasonably?
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazon have it, or you have to get it right from them?
No, you can get it through Amazon.
And do they have all the different types? They have ABS and TPU and all that?
Yeah, just type in Protopasta on Amazon. Type in Protopasta ABS, PLA, TPU, and you'll see everything that they have available there.
Cool. Yeah. I like eSun filament from Amazon, Jerry says. There's so many of them. I use the filament that I bought for the red that I'm using to print is the Hatchbox. And so far, so good with that stuff. My first print came out perfect, and I've only had one print actually fail on me that didn't quite stick to the bed. And it was because my bed needed to be re-leveled, and that was the only problem. Drone Shots uses eSun. Okay, so we have 2 votes for eSun, and I've seen their stuff.
Yeah.
Ninja Flex. Boy, there's a lot of names. Mitch, I'm gonna go. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Carlos, good to see you.
Carl, good to see you, Carl.
Put up a video from one of your new 3 inch. Good, I want to see that.
Upload 1 or 2. And Artco, I hope to see you Sunday. 3
All right, awesome.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming in.
See you, Carlos.
See you next time.
Yeah, Mitch, I'm going to bounce out too. I just wanted to show you that little trick about making things round if you're using Tinkercad to do that in the meantime.
Hey, Al, before you go, can I ask you what happened with that little floaty thing that you...
I haven't done it. It's sitting right over here.
Uh-huh.
I made it. I built right on the bottom of it the GoPro attachment so I could mount a camera to it.
Cool.
I made the hexagon hole for the nut to go in.
Right.
For the threaded handle, and it floats and it works. But I used, obviously, when I tried to show this on my show, I was using my studio and the green didn't show up because of the green screen. But I painted it with automotive primer and John Deere green.
Right.
And actually separated the layers.
Really? Oh, to attack the plastic?
Yeah. So I used the wrong kind of paint. I used probably a lacquer-based paint. Probably need an enamel-based paint. So, yeah. But it floated just fine, and it held the camera stayed upright, and I mean it worked well. So my idea was to, when I'm ready to do that, to make a bigger one, just make it bigger, like 4 times the size.
Right.
And I used coat hanger wire to make the cradle to be able to pick it up with a hook with the drone.
Right.
So I could let it drift around on the lake and then send the drone out to retrieve it.
Uh-huh.
But I just haven't had time to play with it.
All right.
Taken any videos with it yet?
What's that?
Have you shot any video with it yet? Any
with that thing? Yeah, in my kitchen sink.
That's it, huh? That'd be fascinating. Throw a goldfish in there.
Yeah, right. It was just a float test to make sure it would support the weight of the camera and keep the camera, from sinking. and it did good. I mean, it did a fine job. And I've actually got an Osmo Pocket on loan that I'm sure I'm going to have to return soon, or the guy that owns it's going to be hunting me down. But we had such terrible weather and everything. One day that we had a nice day, I took the camera and went out to the lake, and I was gonna get the camera wet. I finally worked up the nerve to get someone else's $350 camera wet. And the docks where the boats are moored was locked, and I didn't know that it has a gate on it, and I couldn't get on the dock to get out in the water. And I thought, well, damn. So now I'm gonna look at Walmart for some kind of a toy RC boat of some sort,
right?
That I can buy cheap and use that to run the camera out there.
Hey, go to Walmart and look for the Sharper Image. They've got a little toy RC boat. I think they're like $20.
Yeah, see, something like that I can afford to buy and then I'll just tie the camera to it and let it hang under the boat and run the RC boat around out in the water.
There you go.
Just try to get some underwater footage with this camera. But I really want to do that, and maybe I'll get to it this weekend if I can. It's been rough.
Have you seen the videos that I've shot with my little gadget?
Yeah, I've caught a few minutes, a few glimpses here and there.
Right.
But like I said, the last few days has been brutal.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can tell but looking at my face, I probably look like I haven't slept in a week.
Yeah.
But it's
go check out the latest one where you'll see some giant bass swimming by it.
I saw that one.
Oh, you did? Oh, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
that one I did see.
And what did you shoot that with?
That shot with the Osmo Action, didn't you?
No, I used my GoPro.
Oh, GoPro, okay.
Yeah, I've got a Hero 3, and I mounted that on the bottom and put it out there, and it's tethered with some twine, and it just let the current do whatever, and got some really great shots with it.
There's Bill Thomas from Coast to Coast Drones. Hello, Bill.
Oh,
and yes, Jerry, I do still have the Osmo Pocket, but I also have Rick Halber's Osmo Action. Man, they got some pretty cool RC boats on Amazon for like $50.
You go to Banggood, you find one for 3 cents.
I don't want to wait 3 years to get it.
It takes me, I've gotten, I figure 2 weeks to 3 weeks. I usually get it from Banggood.
Yeah, well, see, I've been home a month, and Rick said I could take the camera for, 2-3 weeks or whatever. And I left California with it. It took me a week and a half to get home, and I've been home a month. So I've had it 6 or 7 weeks now, and I don't have any of the filming. I only have 20% of the filming done that I want to do with it. Right. We've had such horrible weather and storms and everything for the past 2-3 weeks that now we've got nice weather, and I ran out of money, so I had to go get a job,
Yeah, it works that way, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, 3D printers are cool. They're a blast.
It's just something else to pass the time.
Yep.
That's what happens when you get older. All you youngsters out there, except maybe Jim Wallace. I can't call you a youngster.
I'm only 39.
Yeah, I'm only. I just celebrated the 30. I'm 37 myself. I just celebrated the 37th anniversary of my 35th birthday.
I like 39 so well, I just keep repeating it every year.
Remember Jack Benny?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was his age, 39.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I saw that last week Ken Herron had Mr. Steele on.
Right.
He's a maniac. And at any rate, Ken was complaining that he's too old to learn to fly FPV. He's saying, it's a younger guy's sport. So I sent him an email. I said, you're just a kid. If I can do it, you can do it. So we'll see. He answered the email. We'll see if how seriously he keeps saying he wants to do it.
Yeah.
But he wants to do it more like I want to do it. I don't want to fly, parking garages and office parks and that kind of stuff. I'm not looking to go out there and make those kind of videos that show just how a daredevil I am. I want to be able to incorporate the speed and the movements to go for more cruising cinematic type video with a few little rolls and loops and things like that in it. But I think that's what he wants to do.
Here's a suggestion for you to make some really, really super cool video. Make a second camera mount and face the camera backwards.
Guys are doing that. Yep.
Do all your flying forward, but when you play the video, it's rolling backwards. Well, it's in reverse, but the video's playing forward, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand. I've seen
so it looks like you're flying backwards everywhere.
Yeah, I've seen a few videos like that where they actually mounted it. Now they've actually got a setup where guys are mounting FPV cameras on both sides of the drone and can have a switch on their transmitter to switch back and forth.
Well, that would be interesting. So they can fly backwards too and have the FPV. Oh,
they've got, besides these two cameras now, they've got the GoPro on the thing. So they can start doing backwards maneuvers, loops, backwards through gaps, and it looks like they're doing backwards, but they flipped the camera on the drone so they can see where they're going.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I put a camera on my Mavic Air on the top so that it looks like I'm flying backwards. But the problem is there was so much shake in it that I wasn't too.
You get a lot of jello.
Right. See, now if I put
that's the other thing I want to do with the Osmo Action, because it has that rock steady feature.
Right.
And so I'm going to face it to the rear of my Mavic and then put the Mavic in sport mode and fly it around forward, and make it.
There you go. That'd be cool.
Have you seen some of the guys mounting the 360 cameras on these things?
Yeah,
I've done that.
I mean, looking straight down, it looks like you're flying above the drone. It's the coolest looking.
Yeah.
Some of the coolest looking shots.
Yep. Anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to bounce out of here because it's only 6:30, but I'm actually probably going to go to bed pretty soon.
You're going to miss Ken's show. Ken's coming up here in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's what replays are for.
Well, it seems like we got about 5, 6 people in here right now. I'm kind of losing interest in this show too. Everybody kind of peters out after a couple hours of this. I do too. I'm not up. Spike is gearing up for another one of these
Another one of his
14-hour
marathons. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't even imagine.
Yeah. Me neither.
Yeah,
He may hold the record for 24-hour marathon by himself.
I'll tell you, it's tough to do by yourself without anybody on a panel or just
Right.
You know, if you got people in the chat to interact with, that's okay.
Right.
And play music. You know, you can always play music. But still,
I did a live stream about 2 hours ago for about an hour, and Jeff came in, and I had a few people in. You know, I'm trying to get up. I've got subs, but I need some view hours, and it takes a long time. And I thought maybe live stream might be the way to do it.
Well, I'll tell you what. Even Jim, even if we get the minimum, the 1,000 and the 4,000 watch hours, and say that we're monetized, we're not gonna make any money. We're not gonna get enough. You need tens or hundreds of thousands of views to get anything that's even close to significant. And you know, the reality of that kind of set in with me. So I have given up. I don't care how many subs. Right now I have 725.
I just set that as a minimum goal, and beyond that, you know, who cares?
But I do this one live stream a week, and it keeps me, and I put a video or two up a week, and it keeps me on path for the 4,000 hours, just in case I get to 1,000, and we'll see. But I don't ever have any, because I know the minute that I get the story of my life, the minute that I get right there, they're going to change the rules again. They're always moving the goalposts. You know.
Here's the thing. Think about this. I know someone that started doing some live streams like 6 months ago, maybe, I guess. I don't know. Not very long ago. And he runs for about 8 hours. So if you do that 5 days a week, that's 40 hours.
That's per person watching.
Per person. So if you have 10 people watching for that whole 8 hours, that gives you 400 hours of watch time for that week.
Right. That's a lot of time.
Wow.
Yeah, but all you need is 100 weeks to make that be 4,000 watch hours. So 2 years.
Well,
right? Am I doing the math right?
I think you're doing the math a little wrong. If you get 400 in a week, you need 10 weeks. 10 times 400. Yeah, that's a pretty 400 watch hours a week is a pretty good rate.
That's a pretty strong. Yeah.
Yeah. Because right now I'm at about almost 3,000 watch hours since last December.
Right.
Well, my current running annual is 3,880 or something. In fact, I can go tell you right now, just really, really quick and easy. Because I was just looking at it last night just to see. Oh, and it looks like I've run out of data on my chip, so it's not gonna let me do that so quick as I thought it was gonna. But let me go this way and see if I can do it like this. Go to Creator Studio.
I wish they did it in hours. They do it in minutes. So I got to keep dividing the damn thing.
You can change that, Jim.
Oh, how do I do that?
Change it to hours.
There's a setting in there that you can.
Analytics. I'm at a grand whopping total. Come on, page. Load. Loading. Keep those data loading. Okay, here it comes. I'm at 3,883 watch hours for the last year.
So you're just running under the rate that you need, the 4,000 in a year.
Just under the wire, and I'm at I think 907 or something on my sub count. 908.
Right. No.
So yeah, I'm very close, but still no bananas.
But even at that rate, about the best you could do to make money would be to have super chats and expect people to, because to get ad revenue.
Yeah, ad revenue would be pennies, you know.
Yeah. You check for 34 cents, you know, for a month or something.
I talk with Ken Heron occasionally, and quite often when we meet up to do something, to do a video or something, there's this little pub we like to go to for lunch because they have really great burgers, and the cook is just really cute, but it's the owner's wife, so we have to be, you know, politically correct and polite. But anyway, and I asked him, I said, Ken, would you mind, you know, if I ask you at 70,000 subs, because at the time he had 70,000, I said, with 70,000 subs and your watch time and everything that you have going on right now with Google, what does that mean at the end of the month for you from Google? If you don't mind my asking, you can tell me, it's none of my business. And he said, no, I don't mind. He said, right now, he said, it's a start. It's 2,000 a month.
Well, that's,
So
I mean, that's
with 70,000 subscribers.
and all the super chats that he gets too.
No, that's not, I don't think that was part of it.
But yeah, and you know, there's no, it's not a secret. There's just you can look on YouTube and type and search for, you know, how much
Google
can you
keeps-
make on YouTube? You'll find a billion videos of people showing off their, you know, showing you exactly how many subs and how much time and how many videos they post and how much money they actually make.
I'm understanding that Google keeps 40% of your super chat money.
Something like that. Yeah. They keep everything, you know, they keep 3% of your PayPal money. They keep everything. Well, it's
Anyway,
their business.
I'm gonna cut it out, guys.
Yeah, we're almost going to wrap it up here anyway, Mel. And
But
always
now, if you do use Tinkercad, you know how to make a perfectly round circle.
appreciate that. I will be in your debt forever. Hey, listen, I wanted to ask you before you leave. Are you anywhere near Jackson, Tennessee?
About 50 miles. I go through, in fact, for the last 3 days, I've been driving through Jackson every day, 3 trips a day, hauling gravel.
Okay. Well, you know, there's I'm still basically in the cigar business, but years ago, there's a cigar show every year in Jackson, Tennessee. And
Oh, yeah?
an expo, and there's a little cigar dealer out there, and we used to go up there all the time. And I've spent a number, 3-4 days once a year in Jackson, Tennessee for a few years, and I just wondered if that was the part of Tennessee where you guys were from.
It is. It's 50 miles from where I live, and it's about 30 miles from where Ken lives, and Ken lives about 20 miles from me.
It's a great area. I always enjoyed it up there.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful here.
I could live there. I could live there.
I could too, which is why I sold my truck and got off the road so that I could actually live at my house that I've had for 20 years.
Yeah, and the cost of living up there is as good as it gets, isn't it?
The what?
Cost of living in that area is
it's phenomenal. I've got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 outbuildings, 5 acres wooded. My property tax is $142 a year.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, you and Ken better be very careful that I don't come up there and plant my ass right between the two of you.
I got a spare bedroom. Hey, I got 5 acres. Bring yourself a cabin and have it dropped on the property, and we'll put electric in it, and there you go.
My son's got a hunting cabin near Murfreesboro. It's
you'll hate the internet here, though. I promise you.
Yeah, my son's got owns 1/6 of 100+ acres of hunting property about an hour south of Nashville. All hilly hardwood forest, and it's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. But he's out there with totally disconnected. They got no power, no water, no nothing.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous country. Gorgeous country.
That's what this was when I bought this land. It was nothing. It was weeds and trees, and now it's populated with electric and houses and buildings, and yeah.
Well, you're about a 12-hour drive from where I am in Central Florida. One of these days, maybe get together. I'll run up there for a weekend or something and meet you guys. That would be fun.
You ought to. It's about 750 miles from here to Orlando.
Yeah, it's you can drive it in 10, 12 hours.
Yeah, about 12 hours.
Yeah. And which is, just a day's driving. So I have to think about that, Mel. That'd be great. I don't want to come up uninvited, but if you can put up with me, I'd love to do that. I
got a spare bedroom.
Okay, sounds like an invitation to me. You guys, we got it on the record. Thanks, Mel.
There we go.
All right, now you can go, Mel.
It's only 150 a night. Now I'll go.
Wait, I got a sound effect for that. There you go.
Mel's internet's not so great though. That's the only downside.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You go up here to fly drones and play. Don't need much internet, do you?
If you go to the Philippines, the cost of living is even cheaper.
Oh yeah. I can't see myself in the Philippines. I can't. I mean, I've been around the world and I've thought about this. Every time I would go someplace, I'd say, I wonder what it would be like to live here. But I got to live in this country. I got family here, and I just I guess why I haven't left Florida, because both of my kids live in Florida.
Hey, Mitch, you ought to just get a condo there. And then you could go visit whenever you want. And, it's kind of like living in Florida.
Yeah, I'm too much for me. I'm too settled now. I've done all, trust me, Art, I've done all the traveling that I think I ever care to do.
I spent a year in the Philippines when I was in the Navy, and it's a great place.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad was stationed at Clark Airfield in 1945.
Wow.
I've been there. They got wiped out by a volcano a while back.
Yeah, Mount Pinatubo. Yep. My dad, when he first got to the Philippines, he was at Leyte right after the battle there, and they were there not too long, and then they went up to Clark Airfield, and it was from there they went to Okinawa, and then from Okinawa he went to Atsugi Naval Air Station in Japan, and he was part of the occupation.
I see. I'm looking at the chat here, and the guys are talking about Ken being impatient. Jerry, are you talking about learning the FPV stuff? You can't be impatient with this. You got to, I gave him, for as much as I can give anybody advice for what I know, I pretty well laid out a good way for a beginner to learn, like I did with, flying the little whoops indoors first and learning how to get the feel of that with the goggles and doing it to start, indoors in the stabilized mode, and then take the little whoop outside and fly it, and then switch to acro and then get a little bigger drone. But it's a process. You have to get used to this stuff. You have to learn. You have to turn it into reflex. Intellectually, you know what to do.
Yep.
But anyway, guys, we're down to nothing. Everybody's getting ready for Ken Herron's show, so I'm going to wrap this up. And Art, thanks for coming. Jim, always a pleasure to see you. What is that? No emus. Yeah. But monkeys are okay. We're allowed to have monkeys. So we'll bring in the music. There we go. We got a little music. We'll give ourselves a round of applause. And with that, we're going to say goodnight to everybody. Anybody left? We got 3 of you left. I can't guess. Drone Shots, Andrew. I don't know who's here, but Jerry, thanks for coming in. See you over in Ken's chat room. Gonna grab a bite to eat and see you there. So until then, see you next Thursday night, guys, and I'll catch you on your live streams during the week. Take care of yourselves.
Right.
And,
good night.
Good.